Gus and Rachel, just as journalists, if you could talk a little bit about what you think were the most distinctive challenges of this story, what it was like to work on, what some of the choices you had to make were.
A couple things that were definitely challenges that I hadn't dealt with before. The first couple weeks we were working on the story, Johanna couldn't speak at all. She just couldn't talk because of the tubes in her throat and everything like that. And so initially we were basically doing most of our talking on a dry erase board, which was fun. But she wrote so fast, it was really hard to try to write down everything that she was saying. And so Gus could photograph, and I'm trying to wildly see what she's writing to her friends on this board. And so we came up with some solutions to that. We got her a journal to write in when she was at the hospital to kind of record her own thoughts, which then later drove part of the story where we used a lot of her writing. It actually was very helpful. And then after that, I think just the challenges of keeping up with a really busy and really energetic 18-year-old. And changing plans all the time and different things, and trying to keep track of what was going on in her life every once in a while through text messages. I was not an avid text messenger. I became a pro at trying to figure out what was going on and what we needed to do and where she was going to be and what was going on. So those were just some technical things. But I think there was a lot of other challenges, and actually, I have to be honest, it kind of feels strange talking about it with Johanna here, even though we've talked about all this stuff. But I think one of the things that became very clear to us in the beginning, or at least to me, in getting to know her, is that she wasn't going to let you know how hurt she was, or when she was having a really bad day, she would try to put on a good face. And so I think that trying to be real patient with her and let her do things on her own schedule and her own time, because the last thing we wanted to do was do more harm. You know, and talking about a lot of these things we had to talk about in a lot of these situations. And she was not only having to deal with talking to us about it, but how her family felt about her talking to us about it. There was all kinds of little, things in there that we had to deal with. So I think that was kind of one of the challenges is we're going through this kind of in real time with her. And the story ran basically in the 8 days up until when Juan Ruiz, who shot her, was sentenced. So it was just this big ball of tenseness for all of us because the story's running, and yet she's still going through, waiting to see what will happen in court, and so were all of we at the same time. And so that was just an experience that I probably would never want to go through again because it was so intense for all of us, and I was so concerned about not only getting the story in the paper and having it run and having all those last-minute things that go with putting one of those productions on, but also very nervous about what was going to happen in court and just what the ending was going to be. We were writing a story and we didn't know how it ended, which was very, very, very scary.
Gus, as a photojournalist, how was this different from other assignments you've done?
This story was particularly difficult because I just was not sure, being a middle-aged male, how she would be accepting as me as to photograph the story. But I knew that we had an extraordinary story to tell, and I wanted to tell it. So I wasn't, I just had to somehow be able to be transparent enough to her so that she would know that that my intentions were what my intentions were right away. And I remember the first few times when we photographed when we were in the hospital. And there's one slide or one image that we had projected where Johanna was only supposed to have 2 people in the hospital room at any one time. And there would be dozens of people in her room. And I could not press myself, as I was taking her picture, I could not press myself against that wall to make myself any smaller. I really wanted to be invisible. But she came up to me, I remember this one time, and she just kind of picked up my camera and she just so put me at ease that I just felt that that we were on the same path. And the beauty of, the beauty of this story that she had to tell was that every situation that we came across, it always seemed that we were kind of uncharted waters. It was just kind of fresh. We never, every situation was just sort of like turning a new page on the story, and it was I attribute it just to her openness and letting us do our job.
Johanna,